Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my channel. Today we're trying a new recipe. It is a vegan meatloaf, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. It's going to have a mushroom sauce that goes with it, like a gravy. So let's get in the kitchen and get it put together. So it's Easter weekend here, and I wasn't actually planning on cooking a meal this Easter for a number of reasons. So my plan was just to relax and not really do much, but it's only Saturday and Glenn has already bought a ham, and so we've got that in the slow cooker. We're gonna make potatoes. I have some leftover carrots and parsnips that I cooked together the other night and mashed, and I love those two together, so I'll have that as well. And then I thought with the meatloaf and the mushroom gravy, that would go well together. So I'm basically having what they're having, except for the meat. So let's get started. One of the key recipes for success in the kitchen is to be prepared. And so we are going to get together all the vegetables that need to be chopped and cooked and whatever. The recipe for this meatloaf is going to be linked down below. You can find it there. It's not my recipe. I'm using somebody else's, hopefully tried and true. So we're going to get all the vegetables ready, get them all together so that when it comes time to combine everything, we just have to throw it in a bowl. So I'm actually prepping the vegetables for two things at once. So the meatloaf and the sauce. The things that overlap are they both have onions, they both have garlic. So I'm going to go ahead and get those done. Potatoes are on. Okay, so our potatoes are done. They've been cooked and mashed. I wanted to show you, I have wanted prep bowls for a long time because it makes it easier when you're getting everything out ahead of time. And so I actually don't like to spend the money though, and I don't want a lot of bowls laying around. It takes up space and I don't have a lot of cupboard space. So just today, I decided to use the containers that the mushrooms come in. I washed them and I will use these as prep bowls. I've got quite a few other ones that I also am going to use them probably for starting seeds if I ever get around to it. But if not, I'm going to wash them as well. And they stack inside each other, so they take up very little room. So here's a tip if you want to reuse, recycle, repurpose. Take these and use them for prep bowls. So we now need to saute the vegetables, and then we're going to throw this all together. Now the recipe calls to do the onion first and then after a few minutes to put the celery in, but I like the celery fairly soft. So I'm going to put it in at the same time as the onion, and we're just going to stir this and let it start to cook down, and then near the end, we're going to add the garlic. Turn it down a little bit. I'm not using oil. If it starts to stick, I will get a little bit of water and use that to saute it. But often I don't need to use anything if I don't turn the pan too high. So I'm just going to let this cook down, and we're going to put our spices together because they are going to be added into the pan and fried as well. Okay, so I still have my garlic here because I'm waiting to put that in for a bit. This is for the other recipe, for the sauce. So we are going to get the spices put together. It calls for 3/4 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground cumin, but I actually am going to put a full teaspoon because I really like cumin. And I'm not putting the caraway seeds in, so that'll just give it that little bit of extra flavor. Half a teaspoon of dried thyme, half a tablespoon of onion powder. And again, with the highly accurate measurements. And half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Again, I'm probably going to put a little extra because I really like it. I like lots of flavor. When you're not cooking with meat, you're already eliminating significant flavor in your food. And we're adding 1/3 of a teaspoon, and this one I am going to get right because I do not want it too hot, of red pepper flakes, just a pinch, and black pepper to taste. Stir that up. All right, so we're going to go back and check on those onions. Okay, so things are still doing pretty good. They are a little round, but that's okay. I don't mind a little bit of char on things. I like the extra flavor it gives. And nothing's really sticking, so I'm not going to put any water in yet. I'm thinking I might need to when the garlic goes in, because I find garlic very sticky. So that's about, well, you'll see in the recipe, it's a full onion. I don't measure by cups. And I put 3 stalks of celery because they were shorter, and I like celery. I like adding vegetables wherever I can. I think it's really important. And I need to preheat the oven to 375, so I'm going to get that started. Okay, I think we can throw this garlic in. Okay, now we're going to add in the spices. Mix them around, get them evenly coated. And then we're going to add a tablespoon of balsamic, and I'm turning this off because there's enough heat on the pan to toast it or whatever needs to be done to bring out the flavor of the spices without burning them to a crisp. And then we're adding a tablespoon of balsamic and a tablespoon of soy sauce, or I'm using tamari. That's what I have. I got it at Costco. So we want a tablespoon. And balsamic is something I'm really growing to love. I want a tablespoon of that as well, or a little more. There's a big tablespoon. And this one I got from Costco, and I really like it. It's Kirkland Organic Balsamic Vinegar of Modena. And I love the flavor of it. It's not harsh. I use it a lot, and it really is good in whole food plant-based cooking. I don't want to use wine now that I'm not drinking, and even when I was drinking, I didn't want to waste the wine on food. And now I'm adding 2 cans, or this is home canned black beans. I'm going to stir that all in. They turned out really well. I buy huge bags, bulk bags of dried legumes, even before I started eating whole food plant-based. Big bags of lentils, black beans, I got pinto beans, chickpeas, navy beans, through Costco actually, online. And it makes it quite economical, and I am the frugal foodie mom, so anywhere I can save money and still have good food is a win. Alright, so that's mixed. Let's see what we do next. Okay, we're going to add the bean mixture to the potatoes, which I put in this bowl. And I'm going to confess that I did try this, and it actually tastes really good. The spices are spot on. Flavor is really good, so let's hope it turns out well. And honestly, if you're making mushroom gravy, even if it isn't great, it'll be great. So I'm going to mix these together. Oh, and I need 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. And I'm putting 1/3 of a cup of sunflower seeds. You could also use chopped walnuts. These are just, I have walnuts, I just don't have them chopped. So I really like sunflower seeds in the burgers that I make. If you saw that video, I'll link it down below as well. I really like the texture that the sunflower seeds give. And I need 1 cup of rolled oats. They say instant. I'm not using instant. I don't like instant. These are organic, large flake. And I don't know what difference this is going to make, and hopefully it doesn't ruin anything. But for my taste you can't have enough texture. So now I'm just going to mix this all together. Potatoes, the oats, the beans. Not keto friendly, just so you know, but it looks very yummy. I think it's going to be good. I'm going to throw some psyllium husk in as well, because one of the concerns that seemed to be in the recipe was that it doesn't hold together well. So I know psyllium husk helps with binding, so I'm going to throw some of that in. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of flax meal. It also helps with binding, and I just really like the flavor. I'm going to put a tablespoon. It's good for you. It's a source of the omegas that you need. And now because I've put all that in, I'm going to put a little bit of water too, just because I don't want it dry. And these do absorb water. There. I have no idea how much that was. And if you're not putting those things in as well, then don't worry about it, because you'll be fine. In fact, maybe yours is going to turn out and mine won't, but we will see. Mine is a stoneware pan, and I've lined it with parchment paper. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to put all this in here. I might put the rest of it in a meatloaf pan, make individual ones. Okay, so this is going in the oven at 375. It says it needs to cook for 40 to 50 minutes. Remove from the oven, allow it to rest for 15 minutes before removing it from the pan to avoid it breaking apart at all. And then it needs time to firm up. So then it's supposed to go in the fridge for at least 3 hours or even overnight. So I also made a glaze for the loaf that is in the recipe of when I put the link. I didn't see it right away. And actually, it tastes really good. And what I really appreciate about it is it uses up the rest of the can of tomato paste. As you remember, there was 2 tablespoons of tomato paste in the meat mixture, and you always get left with part of a can. It had nothing to do with it, and this worked out fine. I'm not a big tomato paste fan, so I'm surprised I actually liked it. So it tastes good, and I'm going to put it on the meatloaf right now and put it back in the oven to let it bake for 15 more minutes. So now we're going to make the mushroom sauce that goes with the meatloaf, and I really think that this is going to really finish it off well. My meatloaf is done, and it's sitting out to firm up. So once again, we're going to get the spices ready before we start making the mushroom sauce. So I've got my mushrooms sliced. There is garlic under there. I have the onions that I did before in my little new prep bowls / mushroom boxes. So I'm going to get the spices ready at the moment, which is almost the same as what I put in the meatloaf, so I should have just kept it all out. So I am going to do a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of dried thyme, a third of a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Oh, it's on my fingers. And we are going to do a quarter of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes and salt and pepper to taste. Salt, I'm just going to put half a teaspoon. I can always add more. Okay, let's go to the stove. We're going to start by sauteing onion. Set for 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, there is the option of blending this when it's all done. We'll see how soft this onion and everything gets. I'm probably not going to worry about it. Okay, so these onions are just about good. So I'm going to throw the mushrooms in now because they will release a lot of liquid. So the onions can finish up. And we'll just let these cook down for a bit. The garlic is in there as well with the mushrooms. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to trying this. Going to be different. I still really like the texture of the burgers that I made, but I even tried using it as a meatloaf, and I wasn't really a fan. Meatloaf I find is really hard to get the right texture, at least what I want, because I don't want pasty. I'm not sure that this one's going to fare all that well, but either way, the flavor's really good. It'll do for supper tonight, and I think it'd be really good leftover in sandwiches or something like that. So we'll see how it is. I think the mushroom gravy is a must for sure, at least for me. And you can see how these mushrooms are already starting to cook down. Might just leave them just for a second, let the heat get to all of them. And we'll be right back. Okay, you can really see all the liquid that has come out of these mushrooms. So I'm just going to continue to stir it till I'm sure they're all well done. Then we're going to add liquid, which is consisting of a vegetable broth. And so I actually have made my own vegetable broth, and I use a lot of the scraps that I have, you know, when you're peeling vegetables or root ends of things or whatever. I often will just throw it in a bag in the freezer, and I just keep adding to it until I have enough to make a pot of broth. The other one that I use is this Better Than Bouillon, and this is very clean. This one is a seasoned vegetable base, and it only has carrots, celery, onions, tomatoes, 50% less sodium than the other one they have made, and I get it at Costco, and it's a really good price, and it tastes really good, and it's really handy for times like this. Now you can cook this as little or as long as you like, in your preference, how well you like the mushrooms cooked. If you're going to blend it, it's entirely up to you. This is very versatile, flexible. So the next thing we're going to add, again, a lot like the meatloaf. It's a lot of the same seasonings as the meatloaf. I'm putting in the spices that we combined. Distribute it kind of evenly. And then we're doing the tablespoon of soy sauce, which again I'm using tamari. Spoon of balsamic. Deglaze the pan a bit, and now we have 1.5 cups of the broth made from that bouillon, and 1/4 cup of plant-based milk, which I'm using soy milk. You can use whatever you prefer. And I mean, if you're making this and you're not worried about it being dairy-free, you use whatever you want. I'm sure the flavors are going to be really good. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with a mushroom sauce. So I'm going to pour the rest of this in, bring it to a boil, and then we're going to thicken it with a cornstarch slurry, and then we are finished. Okay, so that's coming up to a bubble and a boil. I'm going to throw this in. It's just a tablespoon of cornstarch with about 1/4 cup of plant-based milk. And you're just going to stir it until it becomes kind of translucent and thicker. I can tell right now that's not going to be thick enough for me. Close, but not quite. I'm just going to mix up a tiny bit more. There we go. That's what I like. At least enough to kind of coat the spoon. Okay, so we are done. This is the mushroom sauce. Again, you could blend it now if you want. I'm not going to. I kind of like the big pieces of mushrooms. I did slice them quite thin. And yeah, I'll show you a picture when I get it all plated up. Anyway, have a good night, guys. So can you see me there?
Half your head.
Or put it down.
Or up.
That, like, push down on that. Down. No, down. Push. I showed you that the last time. Okay,
Now it's got you.
Okay. And I actually, because, what?
Do I tilt it down to look?
Not yet.
No.
Because, now I forget. Okay. Anyway, push it down.